So it's 6:03, so we'll call the meeting to order. I have nothing to add to the agenda that's been published. So the first thing is reviewing and approving the minutes of the previous meeting, which was May 29th.
I move that we approve the minutes from the May 29th meeting.
Will I pull up a chair?
Sure, there's chairs in here, Lou.
Oh.
Just come around the corner. I'll go ahead and second approving the minutes for May 29th. All right, discussion.
Basically, I don't approve of being marked as absent.
Right.
Under the law, I was legitimately signed in. On the internet, I was muted, which deletes my freedom of speech, number one. And number two, it deletes my ability to vote.
So I agree, and having done research in it, and there's, I think somewhere in new business, there's a letter also that we got previously.
They take place in June,
That took place in June, right?
or July 1st, it goes into effect.
Oh no, there was a letter, because this same thing came up previously, although it was a little bit different because you had to be here to be sworn in. But it was the same idea. So use of technology is, I'll go to the part that matters. Subsequent amendments to the open meeting statute, a meeting may be conducted by audio conference or other electronic means as long as the other provisions of the open meeting law are met, which they are. In order to meet the requirements that the meeting public be given reasonable opportunity to participate as provided in subsection 312, section H, electronic communication must be something like a speakerphone, which it was. Contact by regular phone would not meet the statutory requirements. So as far as I know, as far as I can tell, looking into this, that anybody can any select board member can dial into a meeting.
But it wasn't on the agenda. It wasn't warned as a hybrid meeting.
Right, but it's so the hybrid meeting. We'll talk about this a little bit in the new business section. So, it doesn't have to be warned as a hybrid meeting, right? If we have a meeting if we have a meeting place that we are all meeting, physical location, the public can come here. It doesn't have to be. My understanding is it doesn't have to be hybrid. So if one of us or two of us are traveling somewhere and want to call in, whether that's via Zoom or via speakerphone here, I think we can do that. It doesn't violate the laws.
Now see, I thought it did because the link was not posted in the agenda for the public to have access via Zoom.
But the public doesn't, so we'll get to this, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And we'll get to this in this new thing that's coming up July 1st, but he could have dialed in on my phone.
Exactly.
As the fifth member.
Yes,
So,
but because he wasn't on the phone, he was on a Zoom link that was not made available to the public.
I have a question. The first meeting that I attended, it was by Zoom, and it wasn't warned. Because remember, it was, I forget what, because my wife had a
that's right.
school board meeting at the same
Yeah.
time. It was the day after the election or something like that.
I think
That wasn't warned, and
Right.
I think I was marked as present. So
yeah, this is going to come up again. So later in the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to talk about the new law coming in July 1st. I agree with Paul that if we just take out the I won't say the medium, whether it's a cell phone or a Zoom or FaceTime or anything else, if a select board person is not going to be here, I don't have to warn anything. They're just not here, they're dialing into the meeting because we have a set physical place that we're meeting. Everybody knows we're here, so they can show up here. And this will go a little bit into the one in July. And I want to double check it again. I'm having trouble with my VLCT password, like everything else. So I'll continue to follow up on it, but I agree that you're right, that you should have been able to dial in and participate in the meeting in full.
Okay.
I don't know how the executive session thing works because that's the problem with.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you can participate in that
on,
because he has to
on
turn
school
the
board
camera.
ones with executive sessions, you still stay. Everyone else is kicked out of the meeting except
Right.
for the person who's on board.
Right, but the Zoom is being run through them, and he has to leave the room, and he has to turn off the camera because they're not recorded.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that part, I don't know how we would have got around, but it's something to consider moving forward.
If you-
And so
The Zoom was on.
Oh, we could take away.
I did bring it up, so he has to, yeah, go ahead.
Well, so what you can do is you can leave the camera on, you just can't record on the camera, so you can see.
Oh, so we turn the recording off?
Yes.
Okay, see, that's why we have BCTV here, because I understand that. And so we will, because we have to publish on the website this upcoming, to let everybody know what the rules are, which we will come up with and come up with a paragraph or whatever it is we want to come up with. And that will consume everything we're talking about right now. Because again, I think, anybody can dial in. So, so for the minutes themselves, can we mark him as attending? And then we will readdress these at our next meeting. We'll just have 2 sets of minutes, the 29th and today, and have this changed. So we'll hold on that vote.
In the minutes that were circulated, he was listed both as present and absent.
Right, I saw you.
My message was, it's inconsistent,
Right.
so conflicting.
Right, so we'll mark him as present and readdress those.
But it also said that it reverts back to pre-COVID, which pre-COVID, Zoom links had to be posted on the agenda,
Right.
and this was not posted.
Yeah, we'll have that discussion coming up. Because it's weird, and I think we'll have a couple different opinions on it, and we'll go to somebody else and go, you answer this question for me.
And you'll get another answer.
Make another answer.
Pre-COVID,
Very ambiguous.
Exactly.
It's extremely.
Yeah.
Right.
Pre-COVID, did Zoom even exist as an option?
I don't think anybody ever Zoomed a meeting in this town. I was here for a year,
Yeah.
but I don't think it ever happened.
No.
And so, so we'll come back to that. And I'm sure they're getting a million questions from other towns. But the funny thing is, the thing we're going to talk about doesn't really address this. It addresses, I think, other stuff, but we'll get to it. Okay, so we'll hold that for next.
Todd, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I didn't realize that the town isn't providing the Zoom link. So, I wouldn't say it has to be on our agenda. You're saying that an outside person, such as BCTV, is providing this
So
link?
we set up the Zoom through Dummerston, and then we add it to the agenda, and that's how they know to bring extra equipment. And then it's easier for him, because this way he's recording it to his computer, and he can blend in the Zoom camera and us together into one smooth operation.
So that is the select board session.
Yes, it
Right
is.
there.
Yeah, we control the session. Yeah, the
Okay.
town of Dummerston has an account.
Okay, all right, very well, sorry.
Sure.
Didn't catch that out of the
No.
conversation. Thank you.
All right, warrants. So we have warrants 25, accounts payable, and 25P for
Do
payroll.
you want to take a vote on the minutes?
Did we table it though?
I think we're going to table it until next meeting.
The minutes? Okay.
Yeah, we'll just make sure they're updated.
Okay.
I should have used the word table. Thanks,
Okay.
Alex. Again, warrants 25, which is accounts payable, 25P, which is payroll. Anybody have a motion they'd like to throw out there?
Make a motion that we accept.
Seconded.
All right, so discussion on them. There was, 25 for accounts payables is a little higher this month. I think it's 62K. The big things in there are different is 15K for passive. So they're paying a year's worth of unemployment taxes and all those things that are included for town employees. The NEMREC, who supplies, I think, like the software, the programs, the computer, we're paying that for the year because the year starts July 1st. There's Rescue Inc. That's just a monthly bill. And an extra $7.5K for the hazard mitigation plan to the Windham Regional Commission, who finished that last month. We paid them 25% up front. We owed them another 75. So that's what those are for. And then the payroll is just under 10K, again, about where it's at. Any other discussion? All right, so all those in favor of approving warrant 25, accounts payable, and 25P for payroll, say aye.
Aye.
And none against, so that's unanimous. ARPA funding.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
So can we add to the next agenda for ARPA? Do we have, I'll talk to Johnny at BCTV.
Yeah.
'Cause they've asked now that this law has been passed, there's gonna be some extra work. Can we look at the ARPA funding and see what we have left? I don't, that's maybe an extra 400, I think they were looking for, but I'll verify that. And we can talk about it next meeting. Cause basically they have to bring extra equipment with them, and it's extra work for them to then meld the meetings together, and they'd asked about that, so we'll follow up on that as far as for next meeting.
You know, it would be great if we could just have it as a standing policy that we've got hybrid meetings and figure out a way to pay
Don't get
for
ahead
it.
of me, Mr. Wilson.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of merit.
So, recognition of visitors and any other public comment. I know we've had some. Anybody else over there have anything they want to bring up?
About your agenda or anything I want to talk about?
Anything you want to talk about?
Oh, okay.
Public comment. We're here.
Okay, I just sent everybody an email, so I just thought, I would bring a copy up since, I'm over a mile away. Save the secretary time to look it up.
All right.
And
Thank you.
it's a request because every one of us drives down East-West Road and we approach that bridge and then we stop at that T stop sign and we have to look left and right and there's just branches in the way on both sides that, a quick trip with a trim by someone on the maintenance crew could really just make it so that you can see all the way in both directions. And I've been meaning to remark on this for more than a couple of years. Plus, I also wanted to see the two new faces on the board because I haven't met them yet and I wanted to introduce myself since I know everybody else here. So that's my request for Lee and for you guys, and you can take it up, in your next session or discuss it with him and see if he's going to accept the fact that, you can't see all the way and cars sneak around.
Is this, you're on East-West Road, you cross the bridge and you hit the junction with Schoolhouse Road?
The junction with
When you're sitting
schools.
there. Okay.
Right there.
Right.
And you're faced Larry's house and, the Lynch's house and you're looking up, looking down and
Seems like an easy fix and a no-brainer to get out there with some loppers.
Yeah.
well,
I'll pass it along to you.
I didn't want to take the initiative myself, Alex.
Great.
I didn't.
Whose property is that?
Well, it's the road
Well,
town
about 12, 15 feet on either side of the road belongs to the town.
controlled by the town. I
Yeah.
don't think it belongs to the town.
Right.
It's controlled by the
The
town.
first 4 feet, I think, is owned by the town.
Yeah.
But we can do
So we can
Yeah.
trim trees.
Because I know the tree that she's talking about. It does block your view.
Oh,
I'm trying to
you
picture
do?
it. I'm
See,
trying, if you're
I
going
saw
down the
that.
hill
Yeah.
and then you get to where it veers up here, which straight ahead? I'm trying to picture it because I go
If you
every
go
day.
down the hill,
Yeah.
yeah, what's your question?
You're at the T junction
I'm at the T junction,
Okay.
on the
correct?
bridge.
And if you look left,
I'll pay attention tomorrow.
there's a maple tree. This is not a huge limb we're talking about.
Okay.
It's just, a small one that just hangs down in the way.
Okay.
And I'm sure if it's gone, the tree will hardly notice. And certainly on the other side, I've forgotten what that shrub is called, but it's, a native thing that just grows on its own because birds plant it. And that should be trimmed back. At any rate, I'll just let you know I'm Michelle Charrier. And if you want to see this, I can give you a copy. I printed too many. But I also appear here under the title of the representative to the town of Dummerston to the Windham Solid Waste Management District. And I know I haven't sat in the chair yet to give you any updates. You're always welcome to, call or email or text me if you have some question or another. But I would hope to, meet both of you, shake your hands.
I had a question for you, but I guess it's not on the agenda. So it's
Not only that, but Michelle is also chair of that district.
I'm also the chair of the board too. And also, if you're getting your views of Dummerston as expected, I'm on that committee too. So you flip open that front page, you'll see my name and address on the inside cover. So you just take a quick peek there. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
Thank you for giving
Sure.
me your minute here.
Thanks, Michelle.
I hope you take it, seriously and, cut them.
Oh, we'll cut them. I'm sure Lee will swing by there with, working on the road.
Oh, wait.
Anything else of interest? No?
Absolutely
It's like I got nothing. I'm just hanging out. I got nothing to do on Wednesday
Taking
night.
it all in.
Do you have an easy question I can answer before I?
Oh well, it's probably not easy. I heard the story about why we can no longer dump our recyclables up here because there were some issues.
Yes.
Stuff being thrown in there, but I wanted to see if
Correct.
there was any way to
Get that back?
because
Oh.
driving your recyclables to another town kind of defeats the
Yes, indeed.
some of the savings.
Well, if the town wants to discuss the possibility of adding a transfer station, that's what you're talking
it's a big
about.
it's a big question. So.
It is a big question. It's an expensive question is what it is.
Yeah.
Because we, the district, no longer provides trucking to all the towns to go and get their recyclables. That went away when the materials recovery facility was closed because there was no way anymore to make revenue. You can't make revenue, you can't
I've
keep.
heard that's gone down a lot,
Well, yes, it has.
especially since like around 2020, right?
You're even before that because there being no revenue, it either comes, revenue for the district either comes by taxation to the towns, or by other means that we have to generate it, like selling cardboard or making and selling compost.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Understandable.
but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people wish we had a transfer station, and there are a couple towns that are putting them in. But I'll make an appointment sometime. When I'm on your agenda, I'll bring Bob Spencer, our executive director, and he can give you the thumbnail sketch of what would be involved. He's worked a lot with all the rest of the towns in the district that have or are anticipating adding transfer stations.
Any change in the
So-
value of recyclable materials? I know it goes up and down and mostly down. Is it still low?
The value of it is very little except for cardboard. It costs us more to dispose of recyclables than it does trash. I'm sorry to say that's the reality of the world. Trash costs less than recyclables. But, in a potential possible to come, everybody used to love separating all their stuff, and if we have an opportunity, we might act on that because that might help the value of some of those things in terms of whether they can be resold.
You mean if the recyclables are commingled?
If they're
begin
not
to-
commingled,
yeah.
because they are right now,
Yeah.
because they're single stream. So,
Okay. It's a bigger project. I understand.
yeah, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt your
That's all right.
otherwise usual agenda, but you will see this in an email.
All right. Thank you. I just see it in my email.
And maybe Lee will just bring his little chainsaw in tomorrow when he's
Bye.
milling the road.
I'll go down there with our Barbie saw.
That's right. That's all it
Thank you.
needs.
Thank you for the input.
Thanks everybody. Good to see you.
All right, so the road foreman's report, Lee's not here, there's a few things that came up. Obviously the right of way in the West Village, our July 10th meeting will be at the community center. So we have that booked, so we'll have a 5 o'clock site visit there, a 5:30 hearing back in the community center, and then our regular 6 o'clock meeting to follow. And we've got the building, like I said, it's already booked through Randy Hicken. The paving bid funding, the question last time I did ask Lee, so we have 200K in grants from the state. So the extra 80 we'll use this year, and then we'll be 120 left. So the 120 we approved is enough to get us there.
Okay.
I did get a call last week about class 4 road up near, Green, I call it Green Hill, I think it might be Green Howe Road.
Greenhouse.
Greenhow.
Green Hill, right. About overhanging branches, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'll just sort of address it. All I told, it was Bill Bandish, I told him I will give you the status of that road and what you can and can't do. and then it's up to you what you want to do, right? I mean, basically, we don't maintain class 4 roads in the winter or the summer. So if anybody wants to do anything, trees overhanging, branches, they can do it. They just have to ask us first, and then we tell them that they can do that. So that's all that's at. So
And also to include on that, where that rock is on the road, behind the Grange area there.
the community on the road.
It's actually 6 inches beyond that rock.
Did you? Well, you
I
walked it off
measured
with Lee. Is it a big rock that's like embedded in the road?
Embedded in the pavement. You see it, it's about like this.
Okay.
And just 6 inches behind that.
The attorney doesn't
What's the
seem overly
exact-
concerned about the exact distance right now.
Okay.
But I think what we'll probably do is before the meeting is we'll go put a flag out there.
Just even a can of red.
Yes,
Spray
spray
paint.
it so everybody knows this is the road. This is what's we're ending. Everything north of this.
I'll be happy to take care of that.
Alright. Got your graffiti stuff ready to go.
Yeah. Just
Alright.
draw a little line with some paint.
Excellent. Correspondence for information.
Before we leave
Oh,
road
yeah.
foreman's report, on a safety issue, I got a comment from a resident that there isn't a sign asking people to turn on their lights from the east side of the covered bridge.
You are correct. Somebody else told me about that too.
You know, I was at the covered bridge meeting, and it was
Isn't that automatic? And they don't, headlights come on automatically?
well, they don't
Mine
come on initially until you're in the bridge.
Okay.
So if you're on the other side and you sometimes can't see a car waiting to enter the bridge from the other
And if
side.
you have an older car, your headlights aren't going to come on automatic. So there's a sign on the west. There's just not a sign on the east.
Right.
I'll talk to Lee about that. I'll add that to trimming, safety, lights. Huh, I wonder if the same person said it to me said it to you.
I think so, because they said they'd mentioned it to you as well.
Well, we knew who that was. All right. Correspondence for information. The only item that really stood out a little bit was the animal control meeting that's going to follow the regional policing initiative. You'll be there for both
I'll be
those.
there.
I don't think anything. I need to probably pull some of these things out, which I'll try to do before the next meeting, the next agenda. Anybody have any questions on any of those? The the covered bridge. If you've been down there, the steps are maybe halfway in,
2/3, I'd say.
2/3.
Yeah, they're moving.
They'll be
quickly.
done here, I think, maybe in a week.
Yeah.
Ish.
I went to the meeting, the pre-construction meeting, and it was good. Number of people were there from the Conservation Commission and the state and.
Mhm.
the
Yeah, I thought they were going to go right down the same spot. I didn't realize they were going to angle them a little
Yeah.
further into the parking lot, so it looks
I think it's safer.
much safer. Yeah. So
Yeah, they'll go down to the bottom and then turn. There's a landing.
yeah.
Right.
So that's good. Animal control meeting. I don't think there's anything else I have on that section. Correspondence for discussion action. So, is this it? Well, we'll talk about sheriff department minutes. That's coming up, right? Oh, let's do the sheriff. Well, this one. So this is just the open meeting. Everybody got this. Windham Regional sent it out. This is what we were talking about earlier about the new requirements. So as I read it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the gist of this is that what they're saying is there's no more for non-advisory boards. So the select board, the board of abatement, the DRB, and there's one other one, the tax. We have another board, the tax somebody. The non-advisory people that make decisions about finances and taxes and spending and all that. You can no longer have hybrid meetings, right? You have to meet in a physical location. You can't have remote
You
meetings.
can't have all remote. You can
can't
have
have all.
hybrid.
You can't have hybrid. And the hybrid is if requested, right? It's not required. So that's one of those things we'll want to talk about with the money if we decide to do it. If we just want to have standing hybrid all the time.
Could I see that?
Yep.
Because that's, I misread it, I guess.
Yep. The last paragraph on that particular page clarifies.
On the stage.
So, I mean, I certainly have no aversion to just doing hybrid all the time.
I don't really think that's.
And it gives everybody the option and just be permanent. There's probably an easier way to put it in the agenda. Because I don't know that people need to be dialing in from San Jose. I mean, I guess maybe they will be. But I think everybody's got computers.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be a little easier way to not take up a page.
Oh, we could eliminate most of the, you have to include the phone number.
Phone numbers,
But I think we could only include, say, New York.
right? Or can we have it that it notified that it's a hybrid meeting
Oh,
with
good.
a
I
link,
forgot that's
and then
yours.
say
Yeah,
for
that's
phone
fine.
dial
I
in
was just
C
looking at the numbers. I
end
always
of
wondered
agenda,
why
and
they
put
had
all the
so
phone
many
numbers
numbers.
at the back? Or do you think they have to stay with it? I was trying to make it so you don't have to go through a whole page before you see the actual
Yeah.
agenda.
I'm gonna have to drive, probably in September to California to bring my son's dog back
Getting back his dog.
and drop my son.
Wait, you're taking his dog back to him, or you're bringing his dog?
Taking it back to him.
Okay.
He's flying to Europe.
Yeah, we'll make sure they're in there.
Yeah.
I was just figuring out the smoothest way to, it could maybe, we could have the
We could have the
hybrid
whole thing
notification
at the bottom.
and put in the
Yeah.
header that it will be hybrid meeting C end of agenda.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so that'll be so like I said, next week we'll talk about the increase. I mean, I think we have to do that anyway, and the funding, whether it comes or not. I think we cover that.
And I don't think there's anything in the ARPA funding that would prevent us from using a little bit of that money, is there?
I don't think so. I mean, it's for town government, which I think is like what
Yeah.
ARPA was for, right? And so I think it's fine, but we'll check for sure. All right, new business. Paul, what's
Okay.
yours? Talk about the sheriff.
There's a couple of things in that contract that I really didn't care for. One thing that really stuck out is that approximately, well, you don't have the word approximate in the contract. And also,
You mean for hours?
for hours, approximately 24 hours.
Right.
Are we paying a flat rate despite
We're paying a flat rate
despite it being
up front.
approximate hours?
Up
So we'll
front.
pay, say it's like 20, we'll still pay for the 26. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
so if,
Flat rate, even though it's
even though,
approximate hours.
like right now, they put in 175.75 hours, which calculates out, dividing it by 12 to 14.6
I see.
Wait,
a month.
But we're paying for
No, that's-
26 hours.
We're paying for 24
So
hours.
that's not approximately.
That's not
That's
approximate,
what I
Hang on.
which means they're gonna have to.
No, that's not.
Put in-
The total is 18,560, which you divide by 64 is 290 hours, which is 24 per month. The monthly payments for 12 monthly payments are $1,547, which is also 24 hours per month. So I'm not sure where you and I are don't have the same numbers.
Okay.
So here's the contract.
For the one.
So we're paying for $64 an hour, and the services for the year are $18,560.
I believe it's 1,500, no, wait a second.
That's $1,547.
Yeah,
Per month.
1547.
Right. If
Per
you divide
month
that
that
by
we have to pay.
yeah, if you divide that by 64, because we're paying $64 an hour,
Mm-hmm.
that's 24 hours per month.
Right. But I'm saying what we've got presently.
Oh, what do we have presently?
Okay, we've got a total of,
Now I know where we've gone.
okay,
Go ahead.
I was giving
So you're
you,
giving me so far for the so we're basically
so far this
The
year,
actuals.
for this year, so we're
Actual.
almost done. Okay.
that means we have the end of this month to come up with, what is it, 14.6 hours this month to get to 24.
All right. And so they'll
Just-
issue the report within 15 days, right, at the end of the month.
Right.
Okay.
But I also feel that, we should be paying after they do the service, not before they do the service. I mean, it'd be like you getting money up front to do your job before you do it. That
Right.
isn't the way it works in the real world.
So they're running it on a net 30, right? So
No, it's before 30. It's before.
It's
30.
the beginning of the month. You pay.
So hang on. So we'll look real quick because there's a net 30 in here, which implies you have 30 days to pay the bill.
Right.
So they'll bill you the first of the month, but you don't have to pay it for 30 days.
But we do pay at the beginning of the month.
Right. Okay. So notwithstanding the above, payment shall be made full within 30 days of the billing invoice date for the contracted work by office. So, do you want to just not have Chris pay it until the 30-day point?
I would prefer that
All right. I'm fine with that.
instead of paying it up front.
Right.
Before
It's
the work is done.
1.5% interest if we're late, but Chris is pretty on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to move the payment to
The end of the
end of the
month,
month. That doesn't
not the
change this.
beginning.
Okay, that doesn't change this contract.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, great,
But it's,
cool.
you know,
Did I take a look?
Yeah, yeah. Here's the folder, by the way.
and that one statement I still, you know, have problems with, but
The
we can
estimate,
deal with it. Yeah,
right. I don't know that they hit, so from what I've seen,
Approximately.
I don't
Maria, you
have
would
a
know.
problem with approximately.
in a contract.
Yeah, because,
I'm
you know, there are
surprised
gonna
the
be
attorney is-
extenuating circumstances one month where there's some, you know, crime activity that necessitates them spending 7 or 8 hours. So then the next month they might work a little bit less to get it to even out.
Right.
I think their target is obviously to hit the full number of annual hours.
And
But
then-
you're right, and if on the 25th of the month, there's a big accident on Route 5 in Middle Road, and they spent 4 hours there, they're gonna go to 28 hours for that month, so the next month they're probably gonna do 20. So I think they try to,
I think that's the
Balance.
reasoning for calling it
Yeah.
approximate.
but that's,
I would-
Well, the question is if they don't hit the total for the year, we're still paying
Yeah,
the total.
that's correct.
It's not
That's correct.
given. So that's the question.
Well,
Personally,
obviously-
I don't care about approximate either, as long as we end up paying the exact.
so you know where we're at, so we're 14 hours under, so with another,
14.6.
with another, whatever, just over 2 weeks to go.
Mhm.
So I think they'll probably, I haven't been here at the end of these, but I'm sure they'll probably hit the number, probably go a little over if need be.
But that's fine. I mean, I just feel it's a responsibility to monitor it.
But yeah, I think I completely agree. So what we want to do then is pass along to Chris to pay within 30 days, but as far into those 30 days as possible. Maybe 20
Now, is that-
I mean, ideally, I would like to see them, tell them that this is the maximum amount of the contract. When you send us their invoice, whatever it is for that month that you've done, for instance, January, they did 1.4 hours for the month.
So
And one other thing to add to it is that we also are paying their transportation to go to Putney. Because it's 11.4 miles
right,
and it takes about 20 minutes. So that's your .2s that you see on the reports. Because then after that, they go to Putney. They're on their way to Putney.
so mileage is included in the $64. But what you're saying is, if
When
they
they're going to
patrol,
Putney.
if they patrol Route 5
Right, going to Putney,
going to Putney,
we're charged for it.
right? But they're in Dummerston.
But
Going to Putney.
are they patrolling while they do that?
Yeah,
I think that's your question.
yeah.
I assume cops are patrolling the whole time. I mean, I guess your point being is if there was an emergency response to Putney and they're zooming up Route 5 with their lights on,
Right,
that they're going to count that? I don't think they're going to count that,
okay.
but they could. So I'm going to go back to the payment. So I believe in the contract they have to give us the printout within 15 days after the month. So we, in theory, for June this year, they should give it to us by July 15th. They probably give it to us sooner. So they give it to us July 15th, but they're billing us on, as you say, July 1st.
Right.
And so,
I would much rather see them send us a monthly statement. Okay,
So-
and then we pay that monthly statement.
Yeah.
which is what we're doing, we just want to pay it later. So the thing is, that what you're saying is, how about this idea? We want to be able to see the monthly report before we pay it. So instead of paying this month on July 1st, which is probably when Chris is paying it, we have until the end of July. So once the select board has seen the printout, then we clear Chris to pay the warrant.
Yeah, I mean, like for this one here, this was February. They did a total of 19.75 hours. Okay. You times that by 64, and that's their payment for that month. Because it's a matter of, we're not earning interest on that money that we're putting out. And we could still be making interest on it, because if they don't put in the hours,
Right.
you know, I mean,
So
I
what's
mean, you're paying somebody for what their job is.
Sure.
For doing their hours of work. It would be like Lee saying, okay, I want $70 this week. I'll put in the time next week.
right? I would guess, having sat through a meeting with the sheriff, and you may find this out, and this would be a good question for him when you're there.
I will.
Is
Bring it up.
the way they do the regional policing, at least his, and if you watch this, I may misstate this, so sorry, Sheriff, is same thing with animal control. They're looking to have funding in place for a year. So he knows how many deputies he can hire. He knows what he can and can't do. And so if the monthly amount coming in from different towns is varying $200 or $300 or $400 throughout the year, I think it just makes his budgeting a little
No,
better.
but if we have a cap that will say, this money is allotted for you at the beginning of the year. This is allotted for you. This is the hours you put in, this is the pay.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm
But
saying?
that's what we have now.
We
We're
could
saying
also
something.
we could also do this, pay the flat rate every month.
Exactly.
And then the last month at the end of the year, we reconcile how many hours we got in the year. And if something's
course.
missing, then that's deducted from
Right,
our
right.
last
So
bill. That
just
was kind of
rounding the numbers, well, it's if they're supposed to be doing 290 hours over the course of the year, and come June we look at it and they've done 170, obviously we're going to say something,
Okay.
right? I mean, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the solution.
Then either they have to provide us with a tally at the end,
Mhm.
or we have to just figure that out ourselves and then we reconcile it at the end of the period for the contract.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it has to be kind of spelled out there that when they say approximate, that if it's far from that in anybody's determination, that it's
Well,
price
approximate
is
is just that. It's approximately. I mean, 2 hours is approximately 24.
no.
Depends on how you.
I think the approximately is the plan is to do 24 a month, totaling 290 for the year.
Right.
The 290 for the year, I think, is a pretty hard rule. I don't think they're estimating that we're going to give you 260, but you're going to pay us all the money. I don't think that's what the approximate implies. I think the approximate applies is this is how many hours you're going to get per year based on the 290 you're purchasing. So per month, that would be 24. But
Right.
some month it might be 30, some month it might be 20.
Yeah,
Unless this is just we're paying like a salary,
yeah, and
you know.
that's why I thought it would be better if we just paid them per their month, their sheet. I mean, if they put in 19 hours, it's 64 times that by 64, and that's what they receive. I mean,
Anyone else have input on this?
Well, I'm a little worried about establishing a precedent where we're getting into the details too much with our treasurer and telling him, when to pay bills that come in. I'm trying to think of how that might play out in other contracts we have. And the other concern, the sheriff's office apparently has a system they use where they do the billing a certain way. Are we going to ask them to change it just for Dummerston and, from the way they do it for every other town? That could be a make work kind of thing for them. So I'm not convinced it's a problem we need to
I
get
also
into too much.
I also have a phone call into the state police
Right.
to see what their rate would be.
That was my other question, the $64 rate, how was that determined and do we negotiate or was that like something set by,
That's what they use to pay an officer.
okay.
Their benefits and that would be their hourly
Fully
rate.
loaded.
Mileage, maintenance, everything for the
Okay.
cars. Yeah, I mean they come up with when you meet sheriff, he'll talk about it. I mean they come up with an amount per hour. I mean, so the way we would reduce that amount is by not having as many hours. I don't think we're going to negotiate with him to say we only want to pay 59. I don't think that's going to work. You try it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying whenever you have a contract with somebody for what you're going to pay them, there are two sides involved in the contract and you usually negotiate a rate.
Sure.
So I didn't know if it was set by the state or something like that.
No, it's set by him, by his office, so.
Okay.
So the meeting on the, when is it, 21st?
21st, yeah.
So, we can get some input back. I don't, when's the contract due? Back to them? Well, also, as an aside, while we're talking about this. Received.
For instance, in April, they did 26 hours.
Uh-huh.
And so, it's 26 times 64. I mean, it would equal out, but I'm just thinking that, you get paid by your hours you work. And not ahead of time. That way we just keep the money as, in our investments, gaining interest
Right.
and save them.
Right now, I don't know that the interest we're gonna be earning on it is worth the effort of the work Chris has to do or the sheriff has to do to do it. I don't. I think this is a solution searching for a problem. I don't know that this is a problem.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but there's a million things we do. I mean, if I don't pay my internet bill, they don't wait till the end of the month to shut it off. They shut it off right when they're gonna shut it off. I'm paying in advance for that access, right? I don't pay at the end. And I think for his budgeting purposes, and animal control, they do the same process, right? Animal control, they have, if you want to be a part of the animal control, you pay a certain rate per hour.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to be part of the big pool, you pay twice as much. And that's up to you whether you want to be part of that or not. So, but he will talk about the state police. They're trying to get more work from the state police because they think they're closer and more effective in a lot of places. But I think the way E911 works is, they answer it up in New Hampshire when you dial 911, and they just go to whoever is the closest asset, and that could be state police, could be sheriff, could be whoever.
So
So
every time I've called the state police, I've had a very positive response.
Right. For an emergency, or just you mean?
Yeah, when the car went up and drove onto a stone wall.
Oh, you called
Yes, I-
straight state police. Okay.
Yeah.
One other item that has to be in here. So I think we should sign a contract,
Okay.
but we can certainly vote on it. If somebody wants to hold off until after the July 21st meeting. So I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion that we sign the contract for FY26 with the sheriff as outlined.
I'll second that.
And of course now we didn't know we were going up, but any further discussion? Well, we need to have, real quick, we need to have authorized individuals in town that they can talk to. The town manager is the default. Paul, can you be,
Sure.
all right, I'm gonna put your name on here.
Yep.
I'll put my name after you. And I think that's probably enough people. Unless somebody really wants to have their name on a list.
That's fiscal year 26?
25, sorry.
25.
Did I say 26?
Yeah, okay. Now
So sorry, correct that, a motion to accept.
I thought we were doing this way far in advance. Okay.
We'd had a lot of time, 26. 25, I just said it again.
Can we just, I think I'm okay with signing, but can we clarify that about reconciling the hours at the end of the year? Can you do that at the meeting?
I can talk to the sheriff about it.
Because it's a good point, like, I don't care about paying ahead, and I don't care about paying, this is the rough amount every month, but making sure at the end of the year that we've gotten what we paid for.
Yeah.
That's, I think, my main concern.
I'm gonna make you the duly authorized agent who's been listed. So you're the right-hand side there, and he'll sign the left. You could ask the sheriff, since he obviously has a computer system that prints all this out, is just to include a running total for the year with each month's report. And that's not gonna add any work to him, because he's already got the numbers.
Well, should we vote on this? Or sign it?
Yeah, we should probably vote on it before I sign it. right?
Oh yeah, hey, all in favor of signing the FY25 contract with the sheriff, say aye.
Aye.
And there's no no's, it's unanimous. The other new business where we need to work is, so Erin Bristol swung by for volunteering to be the health officer appointment. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we appoint her as the town health officer.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Oh, aye, sorry.
That's not Erin Bristol. That's Travis's wife.
I don't know.
No,
I don't think she's really.
different Bristol.
Farmland Protection Fund money, I was supposed to get something back from Chris, I have not yet. I'll touch base with him this week. Salmon Brook Erosion, the request for proposal for design should have been in the Reformer and the Commons today or tomorrow, I think today. So once we get bids back from that, we'll open those bids and choose whoever we want to do it. And the money for the design build is grants. It won't cost us anything. It may cost us, we pay up front, and then at the end of the week, the state gives us the money back, but it won't cost any town dollars.
Was there a date when the bids were supposed to be back?
I believe it's the select board meeting on, maybe on the 10th, July 10th. In fact, I'm not sure it is. I think it's, yeah, in fact it is because they want them by 4 o'clock because they have to take them over to the other building. I'm trying to think, anything else? Does anyone have anything that I've missed? All right, so we'll be back here 2 weeks. The reason, oh, by the way, I didn't even talk about, so the reason we had to go to July 10th is the clarification was that you had to have a meeting within 30 days, you had to have at least a 30-day notice. So that's why we continued on the 26th for the road. We're discontinuing the road. So that'll be on the 10th. I have nothing else.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Good man. And we are adjourned at 6:50.